So welcome to Love Speaks Love. Oh, I'm just going to pop that back. There we go. Just bear with us a moment because we're just, I'm just going to check that we are indeed live. We should be. And just, I'm going to share it to a few pages, or to my pages, and then to a couple of groups. Make sure my sound is turned down. There we go. So welcome everybody, and thank you for your patience while I just sort this out. Go to strategy. There and there and there. That'll do. Oh, that's interesting. I can't see the comments. Maybe there aren't any. Oh, I know why. Just trying to switch on my technology brain. There we go. Oh, that's funny. I just shared my previous live. All right, I'll just do that again. Thank you, those of you that are here. Oh, thanks, Janine.
Yay.
Shanine, I wonder if you shared it to Shanine, apologies, I shared my live before to the to your group. I didn't mean to. Feel free to delete it. It was this one I was trying to share. This is always at the beginning of the show. This is always so hard to do, to get like that technology brain to kick in. There we go. All right. Thanks, Janine. Might have just shared it again. Who knows? Who knows? So hi, Janine. Hi, Jake. Hi, Laurie. Hi, oh, there's lots of other people as well. So welcome to Love Speaks Love. This is an online platform sharing wisdom, sharing experiences with one or more guests. And today my beautiful guest is Candice Co. Welcome, sweetheart. It's so lovely to have you here. You've been in my awareness a while, and particularly in the last few months, I've felt our energies kind of weaving together. And we had a little chat online, and it was just like boom, 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 boom. It was really like connecting with a very, very dear friend who I've known forever. And we did just connect about 15 minutes before the show, and I'm so glad that we did, because it was just this moment of silence and just feeling that really strong heart connection between us. And yeah, you totally feel like I know you so well. You totally feel like sister. So it's beautiful to have you here.
It's very beautiful to be here. I'm getting emotional.
Same. I thought we'd done this. I thought we'd got this out of the way before. But maybe while we just I'm just very distracted. There's two planes in the sky there that aren't normally, and yeah, they were kind of going quite close together. I thought they were big birds at first, but they're not. They're actually planes. Okay. Focus on what you're doing, Denise. So I'm just going to just start with a little visualization, as I normally do, at the start of Love Speaks Love, to bring us into our heart space and to connect all of our hearts together, to weave energies between us. So if we take a few deep breaths, breathing into our heart space in the center of our chest. And as we do that, actually feeling the energy weaving out from our hearts, connecting my heart with yours, Candice, and connecting all of our hearts together on the call and on the replay and on YouTube. And let us also connect our hearts with the heart of Gaia, connecting our energies to the New Earth templates and the crystalline grids. And as we do this, feeling a beautiful web of energy being created around the globe. So all of us are like little dots of light, like little nodes of energy that are all really being connected in a beautiful way. And connecting our hearts to the heart of the sun, and to Source Creator. Definitely feeling some crystalline geometries being activated through that as well. And that was, I know we both share a deep love and, passion, I would say, for sacred geometry. And I remember us both commenting, it just feels that whatever I'm watching, whether it's Franco, whatever, I'm like, ooh, about watching, you're there as well and you're commenting.
I am pretty expressive.
So I'd love to know, a little bit about your journey. We were sharing that we both kind of, I don't know if you started with this with Reiki, if that was part of your awakening. It was certainly part of mine. But anything you want to share about kind of what's got you to where you are now?
My definitely a very catalyzing point in my experience was when I took my first degree Reiki. And I was 15 actually when I took that. And that was because a few years prior, I had been expressing to my mom about visions that I was having, dreams that I was having, all sorts of communications with interdimensional beings. And, you know, it's a lot for someone to take when they're not even, like, it's a completely different reality than my mom was experiencing. And thankfully, at that same time that I was sort of experiencing those things and expressing it, my mom's sister was as well. And, my aunt had a history of, when she was a child, had similar experiences to the ones that I had. So my aunt was just sort of like, I will mentor you. I'll take you on the journey that I'm going on. And it led me to books and tools that I could use to help myself, because it was very troubling for me to experience the contradictions in my reality as a young child. I felt like I was really, really split into many pieces. Having to, like, yeah, it just is Yeah. I feel like Reiki really helped me to pull myself together and have something. I remember, you know, if I ever had anxiety or any issues, I would just put my hands on myself. So it was really a self-help tool for the first 5 years that I experienced it. And I did share it with my friends in high school. I did have little Reiki sessions with my friends and little experiments. I remember sitting with a friend and just having her put her hands in front of my hands and just saying to her, like, you know, intend on creating like a beautiful sort of uh, egg or bubble of energy. Like, let's just pool our energy around. And it really felt magical that we had created this cocoon of energy around ourselves. And I had some pretty far out experiences in high school. Now that I think about it, with my connections, there was one girl that, you know, I was connected with for a very long time, and it felt like we shared a moment where we had stopped time. And we always kind of joked about that, but it was actually like a profound moment where it felt like we had actually stopped time. And in high school, I wrote poetry. I wrote poetry like it came out of me, like just flowing. I would come home and I would just write. I would write the format, and then I would use the star asterisks or whatever it's called to just, you know, that one's over. And then I would do another one, stars, another one, stars. And I had pages and pages of poetry that unfortunately I lost. I ended up losing all of this poetry that I wrote for many, many years. And it's just always been like I've always been who I am. I just didn't know it. And it is funny to look back um, at the person that I was, that I still am. Um, I remember having spontaneous episodes of channeling when I was a teenager and doing the hand movements and feeling like I had this compulsive urge to move my hands. And you know, there was judgment around that. I felt like maybe I had some sort of a syndrome. Like, why do I want to contort my hands in these ways? So I didn't allow myself really to do it so much, but I was definitely um, wanting to unfold at that age. But there was lots of peer pressures and situations that were definitely not conducive to that unfoldment at that time.
Wow, that's amazing. So because I know what a profound experience, first of all, receiving a Reiki treatment was for me. Like that was, there was other stuff before that, but that was, you know, you have certain times it was like, yeah, there was a huge bit of awakening here, there was here. It's like we have it and then it kind of plateaus a bit and then there's another one. But that was the biggest one that really shifted the way that I looked at the world, like totally. There was no doubt after that. And receiving my first attunement, it was interesting because the actual attunement itself, I just felt really nice. I didn't really see visuals, but it just felt very, very safe and home. I felt like I'd come home. That was the biggest thing. But what happened after that, and this was when I was still nursing. So I introduced Reiki to the hospital where I was working, and was doing it on patients and staff, along with my Reiki master, Jacqueline Williams. And she was already doing voluntary work, Reiki, in the women's hospital next door. So she'd already laid some quite strong foundations. And together we kind of brought it into the main hospital. This was a big teaching hospital, very closely affiliated with the medical school. And very profound things would happen when we did it on patients as well. You know, And I just wanted to bring the light into such a dark place. This was an old hospital. It was 250 years old, and really just wanted to bring the light into this, very, very damaged environment, which is interesting that hospitals are very damaged environments that hold so much negative energy. And you walk in and you instantly feel heavy. You feel the weight of everything on your shoulders. Um, the hospital's been rebuilt since then, which is awesome. So it's kind of freshened it up. Um, but yeah, I really get where you're coming from, and I kind of had the desire at the time to introduce Reiki to schools. Now I'm not sure that the children going through schools these days need it. I think they're already very open. But that's quite interesting to me that you did it at such a young age. Um, so crystalline energies, I know you work very closely with crystalline energies as well. And where did your kind of love of sacred geometry, how did that kind of step in for you?
Ooh. So I've always really loved science and biology, and how everything is connected,
Yeah,
and the interconnected web of life. And yeah, just learning about ecosystems and relationships of forms of life has always been a passion of mine. And then also bridging spirituality and science, bridging all the different religions together. How are they connected? How is everything intertwined? um, and which really sort of made me a match to quantum physics. When I started to get into quantum physics, that was such, like, Reiki opened a door for me, quantum physics opened a door for me, and I was able to understand the universal language, and beyond language. It's like, I like in the Bible, it's like, in the beginning there was the word, and what is a word but a frequency, but a sound, but a geometry. And it's just everything. Everything is a pattern. Everything is a pattern, and a pattern is a geometry. So it's just um, understanding the truth of what is at its very core. And I've always wanted to go down to the very core. I think the turmoil that I experienced as a child, having such an open third eye,
yeah,
really sort of at first plagued me, but it really pushed me to search for the core meaning of why everything and how it works. So yeah.
yeah, I totally relate to that. And I just got an image as you were speaking of, I'm going to use the word hospital because that's the word that we're using now, but I don't think these would be called that because it's got there's such a heaviness to that word. But healing centers that were made from pyramids and schools that were made from pyramids, like there's so much kind of scope for the future in using geometries for what they're really there for. Um, and to me, the pyramids are octahedrons. And I know when we work with healing energy, to me, when we call it diamond light codes, to me, it's an octahedron. It's, yeah. And when I was still living in Byron Bay in Australia, and I was of that, when I was bringing through activations in the morning, I would start my day walking to the beach, bringing through activations. And I would always do this like octahedron around, well, a diamond around me. And I was like, why am I doing this? And I'd activated my Merkaba in 2005 on a course. I was like, why am I working? Why? And I got then that it was an octahedron. And finally I managed to find some information, and it was Celia Fenn's work that I found online about the diamond light codes. And I was like, this is a thing. It's not, I kind of got it a little bit more. And I used to do that around the knee, like what you were doing there. I used to kind of, I don't know why it was particularly around the knees, but when I put my hand around the knees, I would always create like a triangle around the knees. But I kind of know with the pyramids that there is an etheric, that it's not just that shape, that it's actually an octahedron. That's just the visible in this realm physical aspect of it, but beneath is another one that's kind of reflecting down from it. So it's actually an octahedron.
Yeah, I feel like we're just tapping into something we know, like it's this deep standing. And I love sort of stumbling into it and just letting yourself express, and then like doing what feels good. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm doing what feels good. And then later on, I might understand, or I might come upon the information as to what I'm doing and why. But finding out after just makes it so almost special in a way, that it's like, it's you, it's what you're made of, it's who you are. And, it's inside of you, it's just coming out. And then you get to have the knowing reflected in that.
Do you have a connection with Medusa, by the way?
With the Nagas?
Yeah, the reason I asked
Yeah, I do.
Before I came on today and I looked in the mirror, my hair was a little bit crazy, and I had this particular bit of hair that was just doing its own thing like a snake. And I thought, it's time to wear this. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know how close I can get. So this is I don't know if it's actually Medusa, but it's one of the family. And I thought, that's interesting. I must ask you about this, and if there's a connection there.
Wow. So I was telling you about this group of sisters that I weave with, and we've seen ourselves, like we've seen a multidimensional version of ourselves as these beings, and we have this wild hair, and our hair connects in to the reality structures. It's like the hair is like seaweed, and it's an extension of the being. And I feel like that. Like I'm always wanting to move. And it feels constrictive to me when I don't allow myself to move how I want to with the energies. It's part of how I receive and then transmit and then even interpret. Yeah. So if I allow myself the freedom to receive through all my extensions and just let myself be what I am, it makes it more it's more fulfilling, and it's more who I am. Just like expressing, it's like, oh, don't express too much. You should. And it's just like, I'm just going to allow. If I want to comment, I'm going to comment, and I'll allow the teaching in that, I'll allow that to balance itself out as I express. Yeah. If I feel like if I am expressing too much, I trust that my own self will balance that out. We are one with nature, and nature is an equalizer. It creates equilibrium in its own self if it's just allowed to be. So we're the same way. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, because it hasn't been on my radar, but that the Nagas kept coming back to us over and over and over again. And it was kind of like telling us, look into the monsters, look into the moon stars, look into the forms that were judged and cast aside as bad or this and that. there's power in that. There's some truth in that. There's something to uncover in that.
Yeah.
So
And a
that
bit
was,
like Harley in the way that she's been misunderstood. Because I really, when I received, it's just over a year ago. It was when I was in Edinburgh that this beautiful necklace was gifted to me, and it felt like I really connected to the energy of the Navis as well, and the message was that we have been really misunderstood, and this was about me coming more into my power in relation to this as well. And I love what you said about that's such a strong image for me of like, you know, all the tendrils connecting in and logging in. And this doesn't matter whether or not you've got physical hair. This is like everyone has those connections weaving out as well.
you can see them as like antenna. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've thought of the hair as being an antenna for a long time, but kind of almost as one. But now I really get that kind of like that weaving and that kind of plugging in and switching things on as well. Like it's the multi-dimensional antenna. It's not just connecting to one place. It can really connect into many. And then you receive those frequencies of all the places that it's connected into.
I'm thinking now of seaweed and how it moves in the water, and how you're helping me piece together. I love how we work. um, how it moves with the water as the water is, you know, in a current. And I always say, like, I feel like a windmill. I feel like when the currents come in from the cosmos or from within, that I feel like I'm spinning. I feel like I'm literally moving with that. And I know when there's a big wave coming, because I start feeling like I'm going like this and I got to go walk around my table. I've got a table downstairs and I just like I'm making footprints around in the wood because I pace around that table so much.
And as we're speaking, I'm getting so much activation in my crown, and it's really, I feel like we've activated something deeper through having this conversation as well. This is a different sensation in my crown and in my energetic hair than I've ever felt before. And I can just feel it going, I can just feel those plugs going in. And I feel very strong mer connection with you as well. Like I'm quite connected to my inner mermaid. That really happened for me in Byron Bay, and I totally feel that in you as well. And I totally resonate with what you're saying, like that flow of energy. And yeah, that's really strong.
And even when I meditate, it's more natural for me to sort of sway when I'm meditating, and I'll just kind of like slightly spin a little bit. And then, you know, it's not always that way, but it definitely feels more natural to move.
Yeah. And I'm also, sorry, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm getting massive downloads at the same time. And we were talking about the weaving as well. I really feel all this antenna stuff like weaving. Um, it's very so you mentioned this beautiful sisterhood as well before you touched on that. Do you want to share some more about either the work you've been doing or, you know, whatever you feel to share about that?
So in 2017, 18, I was called to make a Instagram account, like a spiritual one, just to really express myself freely. And that was such an opener and an activator for myself, and just to give myself, my soul, permission to just go, like just go and be and say and do whatever, you know, you feel like you need to. So my Instagram became almost like my diary, the diary of my soul's progression or my being's progression. And I would literally just channel my eternal self, or my essence into this Instagram page. And, not really realizing what I was doing, kind of building almost like a homing beacon, like, here I am, come find me. Um, and that sort of set me up to connecting with all of these beings that I just so strongly resonate with, that I've come to know as parts of me, as soul family, as like direct soul family. And you just know, it's like, it just clicks, it just works. And each being, like the first one that I connected with, draws these beautiful maps, these star maps, these drawings. And so he sent it to me, and I was like, I know what that, I feel like I can interpret that. So I started doing that. And then he started sending me more, and then I started interpreting them. So we were both cross confirming each other. I was saying, wow, you have this ability. And he was saying, you have the ability to interpret. So it was really mutually beneficial. And then I was able to actually start reading into his past lives, which I had never, to my knowledge, done before. I was like, I see you as this, I see this, I see this. And then he'd bring a painting and go like, this is what you're seeing. And he'd show me a painting, and I'm like, no way. What? So then that was a real big, like, even then, I don't think I recognized. I was just like, okay, this is fun what we're doing. I like this. This is fun. This is play. And then 2019, I had my daughter, and that was such a huge experience for me, birthing her. I went so deep into myself that I actually heard very, very loud and very audible my internal voice, that led me through that process of birthing her, with instructions and everything and teachings, and it was really profound. And then after that experience, I connected with Wim Hof breathing technique, which catapulted me into a next level of like opening, activating. And then major soul family alignment started happening. And so, sometimes you meet someone and they'll give you an activation, and it's like, okay, like, I'll never forget you. We're going on our separate ways, but you still have them in your field, and you'll still kind of speak to them every once in a while. So the beings that I would be meeting after this, and this mid 2019 point, would be ones that would be more intimately walking with me. Mm-hmm. And I think we were all sort of calling each other in, because it's like, oh, like, I want a guide, I want a teacher, but I don't. Yeah. I don't want someone to give me the answers, but I do want someone to bounce off of and to generate with. So I connected with my beautiful sister Kate, who lives in England. Mm-hmm. And her and I have just been co-weaving ever since. And it was like, it was almost like I found my twin sister, or like one of my twins or something. There's another sister that I have that I feel the same way. I feel like we're almost like triplets. I'm like, oh, okay, I found, and to the point where we sometimes dream the same dreams. It's remarkable. I'll be doing a video, and then my sister will be doing the same video, and we'll be writing the same things. It's just, we're so intimately connected. And actually, with Kate, I asked her to be my maid of honor. Like, I had only known her for like a month and a half, and we were having this shotgun wedding. And my husband was like, just ask her to come. We'll fly her out. Like, because I haven't had very many connections in person, like real women that I can be in person with. So it was sort of like a gift from him to me, to allow me to have her come and be in the house for the week before the wedding. Had her for like 5 to 7 days.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. And so she was my maid of honor. She stood beside me as I got married, and then she signed the papers. And it was just so, like, I'm just looking at her and she's just signing these papers, and I'm just elated to have this experience. It's just mind blowing. And yeah, just ever since then, we've been weaving. We added our third our sister in to weave together, and then we had 3 other sisters join us, and it started just sharing our dreams, because we all sort of have precognitive or um, collective messages in our dreams. We noticed it's not just like for us. They were predictive dreams.
Mhm.
So we started weaving in our predictive dreams together, and then it started to be also like moral support and like all sorts of sharing, and it just blossomed into such a beautiful circle, um, friendship and love and honor and adoration. And it was like, this is sisterhood. This is the power of sisterhood. And it's so incredible. And I feel like it gave us all almost like an extra layer of confidence to be who we are, just knowing that somewhere in the world was someone who just was supporting you and just loved you, and you knew that you could just go and just be, and there wasn't any judgment. It's incredible. Like, we didn't even all really know each other. And it just all came together the way it did. And Kate and I were always just like, you know, I it's almost like at first we were underestimating the group.
Mhm.
Like, we were just doing it. And then every once in a while we kind of step back and be like, look at what we're doing here. This is unique.
Yeah.
And really recognizing how much appreciation is there, and actually how much healing was happening through being able to authentically trust a woman, not just one woman, a bunch of women. The way that we were healing all of this trauma that we'd had from women. So it was really sort of much more than a dream weaving group. When women come together, all sorts of things are coming together. They really show up for each other.
And in their true essence and in their divine, like, that's the difference. It's the divine feminine energy that is not about competition. It's not about all those negative aspects that we may have experienced of people being bullied at school, or whatever it is. It's about true, genuine support, and that is so strong. And that's been a flavour that's been in my world very strongly since just trying to imagine where I lived so I can get an idea of the year. I think, actually, it's long. Wow, it's quite a long time. It was, I think it was 2013 that I became part of an online women's empowerment group, and that was a lot of the theme. It was a lot about abundance, and it was a lot about actually empowering and healing those wounds that we've had as women relating to each other as well. And competition is the word that comes in strongly, but jealousy and all those aspects that has been before, that has been part of the old system, that there's no need for anymore. And this genuine joy when you see somebody doing well, that you can be in absolute delight over that, rather than feeling it as a threat to you, or it bringing up your insecurities as well. And to be able to speak openly and honestly in that, and share your vulnerability, and know that it's not going to be turned back to you, that instead of it being thrown back at you, that there is this support and holding for each other. And in this, I'm not just talking gender. I'm talking the feminine energy as well. That this is also what's awakening in the men as well. That it's all of us. It's all of us who hold that feminine energy inside us, which is all of us.
Absolutely. And something that I have, it's like a motto that I have is give freely as I am freely given. And I truly feel that. And I want, and it is my intention to align with beings that operate in that way. And it's like, there isn't any wisdom that is mine. There isn't any quote that's mine. All of it is just patternized through the being that I am. And it's all, you know, I'm just patternizing it through love and through my own expression. But it's just like we're all getting that same source love, that same energy. And it's just not being afraid that someone would take something and then be like, this is, and actually it's funny because I have had these experiences where I have said something and I have felt, oh, I like the way that sounds. And I have come in contact with a being that has taken it and then presented it as their own, as if it came through them and they patternized it. And then I looked at that and I just thought, you know, that's an opportunity for me to let go. It's always an opportunity for me to let go. That's none of my business. And, you know, if that feels good for that being and it feels like they're in authenticity, then, you know, perhaps it is their words. If they felt them so deeply, it's come through and it's now theirs. So it's like, you know, yeah, always an opportunity to expand and to let go. And the let going is the giving freely, because then you're replenished. It's just a continuous thing, and just really learning that through the body, because the body has felt like it has to hold on to certain things or it won't be sustained. But the spiritual aspect of myself really knows, no, just let go, soften, and there's always more. There's always more. And the more you give, the more you receive, the more you give. And it's just like building on that. And for myself, that's like a goal or something that I have. It's just like, how big can I be in my body? How expansive can I be here? How much space can I hold in love? Because the more I allow, and the bigger that I get in my field and in my love and my resonance, the more I will have to give.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. The more I'll have to share. And I want to share because it's so much better to share. It feels so good. I always say, like, when you're eating cake, you want to have someone to, don't you like that? Doesn't that taste good? Like, I always want to share the cake.
I love the analogy. When we were talking before we came on live, we touched on the platinum ray, and I know that consciously I've been working with the gold ray for quite a few years. I would always bring in white light, and then suddenly it switched to gold. It was like everything has to be gold. It's like gold cylinders. It was very much that frequency of gold. And more recently, it's moving into that platinum ray as well. And I feel there's many other colours with that. And even within the gold, like I very much see like rose gold. It's not just gold, it's green gold. It's like many other colours. I just wondered if there's anything you wanted to share on the platinum ray.
The platinum ray, when it came through, felt to me almost like a laser that had like a cat's tongue. You know, when a cat licks you, like it felt so powerful, yet also gentle. yet also extraordinarily powerful and and purifying. And I'm hearing like purifying, like it has this like this resonance with it that just comes through you like a when you're feeling it. And it just like when it first came in through my crown and into my body, I felt like I was going through an internal car wash. I almost felt like my face was like I don't even know how to explain it. It was so powerful. And it was just sort of saying like, you know, the frequencies that that are available to you to work with now, it's just we've reached a level that we can handle them, and we can work with these really powerful frequencies that are like that car wash. And the platinum ray is one of them, and the gold ray. And I always see the gold as also like a rainbow, like it's rainbow gold. It's I have my own word, rainbronic, rainbronic gold. And the peachy sort of rose gold really has been coming in as well. And just it is so incredible to witness these almost like new colors, and like the pearl essence within, like it's like not just white light anymore, it's like white that has like a rainbow pearl essence to it. And yeah, I just feel like we're getting new tools and new toys to play with, to aid in our expansion. And the gene keys are another thing that I've been using as a tool. All just, yeah, I think that's all. I just got a big wave of energy. So,
Yeah. Yeah, me too, as you were speaking. And it's almost like you can hear it, like you said before as well, about the sound of the energy. It's like we're not just feeling these energies, we're not just seeing them, but we're hearing them as well. And all together, it's like one new sense that is like everything together. Um,
and the feelings have been next level for myself. For most of my life, I had been very third eye, very vision, very like it feels like I was almost sort of trapped in my head in a way and not fully integrated through my body. My heart was seemingly like, this is just my perspective of what it was, what the experience was. It felt like the heart engine center had been sort of dismantled or like partially working. And in 2019, when I birthed my daughter, it was sort of like she had come through me and just gone, I'm gonna turn you on, mom, because you're, you know, do 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 do. I was like, thanks, because carrying her was just like a major upgrade.
mm,
And yeah, now I'm feeling everything. Like sometimes I feel my back tingle, and I'll feel like almost like I have wings. There's all of these feelings. And you know, we get the spine tingles and the goosebump confirmations, but it's like I started realizing like this is a navigational system. And I want to learn how to understand what it means when my knees tingle or when my shins are cold, because I get so many different
yeah.
feelings from things. I'm like, I need to pay attention so that I can understand how to read myself as a barometer, because it seems like that's what it is, you know? Maybe that's how animals have felt all along. Maybe they get those feelings. Maybe that's just natural, and the natural way of the human being that is coming.
Yeah, that really resonates. And I think there's been a lot going on at the back of the heart as well.
Oh,
I mentioned I mentioned this in the live before, and I'm being prompted to say it again, that there's this huge opening happening in the back of the heart. Um, And you know, often in self-healing, it's the front of the body that we focus on more, and the back of the heart especially has been a little bit more guarded. You know, those feelings of betrayal, or
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's more vulnerable to be open at the back, whereas at
Yeah,
the front we can kind of see what's going on, but to be open at the back is a really different world.
it's incredible that you said that, because that's what I've been, I want to say, dealing with for at least 5 months. It's been the back of the heart. And in working with my sisters, the word betrayal was what kept coming up, and almost like the knife in the back sort of feeling. And I tend to manifest a physical expression of the energetic block, if you want to say. As a child, I had um, physical issues with my back, like actual, like spondylolisthesis. I had acid reflux and um, a valve that wasn't working in here because of the heart, the energetic heart stuff that I was needing to work on, and all of that has been healed. All of it. I healed the front heart. I healed my ovaries. I was diagnosed with endometriosis at one point.
Yeah.
I had a hiatus hernia, many digestive issues. All of these have been healed and cleared, and I was en route for surgeries. I was on medications. Like it was, that was another journey in itself. But this back thing, like I can feel it right now, and actually it causes me a lot of pain, and I'm sending a lot of love to it. But I think that this particular one, I'll actually have to get help with. And I think that that's part of it, because it's like trusting another being to get that spot for you. And that's like if someone's standing behind you with their arms, it's like fall back, and it's like, no, I don't know. Do I trust? Do I trust? How deeply do you trust?
Yeah.
So yeah, that.
Now, still feeling the energy really, really strong. Do you have any light language there? Do you feel that may wish to come through? I just wondered if there was a shared activation, a shared transmission that might wish to.
Urambai, kuro orambai, iko ora ai, iturai doramba, ukrada doroi. Iti doranda ukoramba hayo boyo yana, ikia hoa, andra dora hishti, ishtia ha oro homba yo okoa ha. Ituria hastoramba ikia kukoanana hatta urami. Ira horramba tur. Iora uram. Ahora uram ari ura uhruan. Ista stohanaiki. Ista hoanaiki a baramaistia stohana.
En in mai ai roho un okaya. Kule aram est ara. Pele rata ana kiporon. Ul ara in ana kun est ara. Kulihiana et oro ost ara. Kul ana mekiana. Kel est oran matatai. Kul ian ele sost oram. Kuleya me adaralana od ara. Kuleyashtana ila oyete. Kulat nima tadada. Kulet nera unotutoya. Kuleyan era unokut era. Udit at ara no ma. Kul iyan era ia ut oya. Kuleya enemikiana ut odlana mekitut oya. Ukana aistara. Kunemekia paran o a kiast ara. O hian ila odotona makito oit ai. Kuleanas ara iet ona kiama ana koila. Kod aredist oyana makia ana yot uista. Kuleana nauto ora ukta.
Purami ika okoana ituduranda ikoya ushtia nanawa hawa uana ukia utia daram titia orada tukukodoraiti iktia utuko akatiti kituko kukokat nanha nanoramba take kukoka nadara dara baba tuturo niki itri to dora tata papa tata te to dara tuturo dara pambarak tar kutnik diko dorat niki iti di otokodo ot nana nukut wadana ikiki koka na akakwa nana ikiki ututodo tata bararambala itu
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. I love like the work with the hands. I find it so interesting. I love to have my eyes closed and see like some of the geometries, not all of them, that are being created when we do that, and it almost feels like playing notes as well. That you're kind of plucking strings, like weaving a web.
yes.
But also like, you know, there's fairly obvious geometries that you're creating, but it's like we are the sound. Our bodies are the sound, and we, you know, through touching different areas, it's creating different sound frequencies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the hands, and you know, precisely where you touch on the fingers, or when your hands come together, or whatever it is, it's creating kind of different notes.
Yeah, my experience with just allowing myself to express whatever sounds want to come through. It opened up for me last maybe September, and for a period of maybe like 4 or 5 months, I always felt light language inside of me. It was in my brain, it was behind my teeth, and sometimes if my kids were doing something and I would be like, stop, it would be like burash, like it would just come out because it seemed to be always running. And actually, it makes it so that I can't have any thoughts. No, it's just if there's going to be thoughts, it's all sounds and that. And I remember saying I've said it to my husband a couple times. I'm like, I've got this language behind my teeth. It's like right there. It always wants to come out and be spoken. And so I do a lot of sounding while I drive and around the house. And the rolling is actually just something that's come through a couple days ago.
Oh, really? Yeah,
So I'm getting comfortable with that one because I've been comfortable with another sort of form of sound. So now it's like I've sort of switched frequencies, or I'm aligning to another frequency. And that's what really wants to come through, is this rolling. You know, I've made some pretty wild sounds that are directly correlated to a healing process in the body, cleaning, clearing.
Yeah.
And some of the sounds, almost like whale sounds, or like some of them are just, I don't know if you've sit and gone like, there's a lot of that. So then sometimes I'll just sit and make those sort of like a cacophony, like it's just kind of like an echoing in my being, and I'll just sit and do that for a really long time.
Yeah, I think that the rolling of the tongues is certainly in the last 3 years. I can't even place it. But when that first started coming through, I was like, what, really? And no, I didn't know I could make so many different sounds with all this as well. And it's quite funny when something's trying to come through and you can't quite formulate it as well. And especially when you're doing it live and you're like, oh no, please, not that one.
No. Yeah, the really low, sometimes this low, really powerful sound wants to come out. And you're like, please.
And especially when you're used to very feminine sounding sounds, and then you get this real guttural that you can feel in the base of your body as well. I didn't know my voice could go so deep, and it's very raspy almost as well.
Yeah. And it's, you know, depending also who's viewing and who might be connecting, you could change your sound based on that. I also noticed driving around, based on my location, it was like I'm a radio station and those antennas are picking up different frequencies. So I'm just like going from here to here to here and these sounds.
And some of the dragon ones are very interesting as well. And there's almost like you have to pull your face in a certain way to bring them through as well. Like I'm maybe not going to do it just now. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been such an amazing conversation. I can't believe the time's gone so quickly. We'll definitely have to do this again. And I feel, you know, just about the light language, we could talk for hours as well. So thank you so much. And even if not live on Love Speaks Love, let's connect soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody watching as well, either live or on the replay. I'm not sure if there's anything else. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the live. Thank you, everybody. Love, love, love.